Hello dear students, welcome to my channel Excel in English. In the previous video, we already discussed and explained the poem Bharat Our Land by Subramania Bharati. In this video, we will solve the exercise questions given in your textbook. Before the poem, the book gives a small reflect and respond activity to help us recall some lines from our national anthem Jana Gana Mana. The question is, recall the lines of the national anthem and complete the table given below with the names of the states, mountain ranges and rivers mentioned in it. We have to identify the names of the states or provinces, mountain ranges and the rivers that are mentioned in our national anthem. So look at the table on the screen. First, under the states or provinces, our national anthem mentions Punjab, Sindh, Gujarat, Maratha, Dravida, Utkala, Banga. Next, under the mountain ranges, the anthem refers to Vindhya, Himachala. And finally, under the rivers, we find the names Yamuna, Ganga. Now let us look at question 2. The question says, work in pairs. Discuss what the words Jaya Hai in the last two lines of the national anthem convey. Share your answer with your classmates and teacher. So you can give your answer like this. Jaya Hai translates to victory to thee. So these words are like a salute of honor and praise for our motherland. The words convey a sense of victory, praise, and honor for the nation. They express the people's love, respect, and pride for India and wish that the country will always remain glorious and victorious. So it is a beautiful wish, a prayer that our country always remains glorious and victorious in everything she does. So the next time you seeing these lines, remember that you are cheering for the success of your nation. Now let's move on to question 3. Read the underlined words in the given lines of the poem. Choose the odd one out that does not correspond with the meaning of the underlined word. That means you have to select the word which does not match the meaning of the underlined word from the poem. Our first one is, she is peerless. Let's praise her. So first we have the word peerless, which means something that has no equal. The poem says that India is peerless, meaning she has no equal. Hence, peerless means something that is incomparable or unmatched. So, among the given words, valuable does not have the same meaning as peerless. Therefore, valuable is the odd one out. Next, number 2. Many a sage has sanctified this land. The underlined word is sanctified. This means to make something holy or sacred. The words which match its meaning are blessed and purified. The word applauded means praised or clapped for. So, the odd one out is applauded because it is different in meaning with sanctified. Third one, and here all auspicious things are found. The underlined word is auspicious, which means something lucky or favorable for the future. So here fortunate and favorable match perfectly with this word. But the word fantastic, which means wonderful or amazing, and is not the same meaning with auspicious, so the odd one out is fantastic. Next, number 4. Of hoary antiquity is Bharat. The word antiquity is underlined. It refers to the very distant, very distant past. So ancient times and time immemorial fit this perfectly, but this one recent past. It is actually the opposite of antiquity. So that is our final odd one out. Now let us look at the check your understanding section given after the poem. In the first question, we have to fill in the blanks by choosing appropriate words from the box given below to complete the summary of the poem. Now the words given in the box are warriors, peerless, Upanishads, Ganga, Buddha, Himavant, sages, praise, historical greatness, Brahma knowledge. So we will fill in the blanks like this. The poem is a tribute to India, celebrating its natural beauty, spiritual heritage, and here we will write historical greatness. The poet praises the Himavant, describing it as mighty and unparalleled. The Ganga is depicted as generous and graceful, while the Upanishads are honored as sacred and unmatched. The poem highlights the contributions of warriors and sages who have enriched the land with their bravery and wisdom. Take care to maintain the sequence here. In the fifth blank, you have to write warriors because bravery comes first, and then in the sixth uh, blank, you have to write sages because wisdom will then correspond to it. It also acknowledges the presence of Brahma knowledge and the teachings of Buddha, highlighting India's deep-rooted spiritual and philosophical traditions. The poet repeatedly asserts that India is peerless, urging everyone to praise her. So, through this summary, we can clearly see how the poet celebrates India's beauty, wisdom, and greatness. Question 2. Complete the following features about the poem. So, here we have to identify some important features of the poem and then complete the blanks. First, the impact on the readers or the mood of the poem. As we read or hear this poem, it leaves us feeling patriotic. It leaves us feeling very inspired. So we will write inspiring and full of pride. Next is the poet's attitude, which we also call the tone. The tone is respectful, or you can also write reverential, because the poet speaks about India with deep respect. At the same time, it is also celebratory and admiring, as the poet proudly praises the greatness and glory of our country. And third, the rhyme scheme of the poem. Now, you all must know that in poetry, a rhyme scheme involves different words that sound the same at the end of the lines, like land and sand. Here, if we look closely at our poem, we will notice that the word ours is repeated at the end of the first, third, fifth, and seventh lines in the first stanza. Similarly, the word here is repeated in the second stanza like that. But does that mean there is a rhyme scheme? Actually, no. Simply repeating the exact same word is a poetic device called repetition, which is used for emphasis and rhythm. Because this poem does not follow a pattern of different rhyming words, we will say that it has no fixed rhyme scheme, which means it is written in free verse. The next feature of the poem is personification. Now, personification is a figure of speech where human qualities, emotions, or actions are given to non-human things, animals, or ideas. In our poem, we see two such wonderful examples. First, look at how the poet describes the Ganga river. The generous Ganga is ours. Which other river can match her grace? So the poet calls her generous and speaks of her grace. You see, humans are generous and graceful, but by using these words, the poet makes us feel like The river is a kind living being that takes care of us. So that is an example of personification. Second, the poet refers to Bharat as she and her. She is peerless. Let's praise her. So he treats our country as a peerless lady who deserves her praise. A third question, what is the impact of the refrain? She is peerless. Let's praise her. I've already told while explaining this poem that a refrain is a line that is repeated several times in a poem. In our poem, that line is, she is peerless, let's praise her. And we will write our answer like this. The refrain emphasizes that India is unique and unmatched. Its reputation strengthens the feeling of patriotism and admiration. It also gives the poem a rhythmic, song-like quality. Now, fourth question. Complete the following sentence appropriately. India is metaphorically described as this sunny golden land, suggesting that it is, and then you have to write accordingly. Now, don't get scared by such big words, metaphorically described. It simply means describing something by comparing it with another thing to show a special quality without using words like or as. This type of comparison is called a metaphor. Here, the poet describes India as the sunny golden land. When we hear the word golden, we think of something valuable, rich, and shining. So, this metaphor suggests that our nation is prosperous, meaning it is wealthy in culture and resources. It also suggests that India is glorious and full of promise, like the bright light of a rising sun. So that's why sunny. Question 5. The poet uses symbolism. Okay, symbolism means certain words, physical objects, or images in the poem stand for deeper ideas or qualities. Match the symbols in column 1 to what they suggest in column 2. So let us see now the correct matches. Number 1, Himavant. It represents strength and permanence. So it matches with option 5. Number 2, Ganga. Ganga symbolizes purity and generosity. As the river is considered sacred and life-giving, so it matches with option 3. Number 3, Upanishads stands for India's spiritual and philosophical legacy. Therefore, it matches with option 2. Number 4, gallant warriors and sages. They represent courage and wisdom. So it matches with option 6. Number 5, Brahma knowledge and Buddha's Dhamma symbolize knowledge and enlightenment. That is option 1. And finally, number 6, sunny golden land suggests richness and glory. So it matches with option 4. Our next question is about imagery. The poet uses imagery. We are also told what is imagery. It is descriptive language to create vivid mental pictures that appeal to the senses. Actually, imagery helps us to see, feel, or imagine what the poet is describing. It's like a mental movie playing in our heads. Now we are asked, give any two examples from the poem. In this poem, there are several beautiful examples of imagery. For example, the mighty Himavant. It creates a picture of the tall, strong, and majestic Himalaya mountain range. Next, when he describes the generous Ganga, we can almost see the wide flowing river gracefully giving its water to the fields. And then This sunny golden land makes us feel the warmth of the sun and the bright, shimmering beauty of our country. You can write any two of these examples in your answer. Now let us look at question 7. The question is, what is the impact of the use of hyphens in the first stanza? Select the options that are true. Let us understand the options carefully now. Option 1 creates deliberate pauses to reinforce the sense of admiration and pride. Yes, the hyphens make us stop for a second, which strengthens our sense of pride and admiration for what we have just read. So option 1 is true. Option 2 emphasizes the contrast between India's strengths and weaknesses. This poem does not talk about weaknesses or contrast, so option 2 is incorrect. Option 3 lends to the lyrical quality, giving it a measured chant-like rhythm. Yes, the hyphens give the lines a measured chant-like rhythm, almost like a song or a prayer. So option 3 is correct. Option 4 suggests hesitation or uncertainty in the poet's claims about India. There is no hesitation or uncertainty in the poet's tone, so option 4 is also incorrect. Option 5 presents a key element of India's greatness before the hyphen and makes a strong assertion about its uniqueness after the hyphen. Yes, this one is also correct. So, correct options are 1, 3 and 5. Question number 8 is about hyperbole. The poet uses hyperbole in the poem. Hyperbole, please take care of the pronunciation. We don't pronounce it at hyperbole. We rather say it as hyperbole. Is a figure of speech that involves extreme exaggeration to highlight a point or create a dramatic effect. It is not meant to be taken literally, but is used to make something sound more impressive or intense. So to create a strong effect, this particular figure of speech is used. So these are just larger than life statements to make an idea more powerful and impressive. For example, when someone says, "My luggage weighs a ton," does the luggage actually weigh a ton? No, it doesn't really mean a ton. It just means very heavy. Now let us look at the examples from the poem. First, there's no equal anywhere on earth. This is obviously an exaggeration to show that India is absolutely the best. Which other river can match her grace? Here the poet is not asking a real question but is emphasizing that no river is as graceful as the Ganga. Third, what scriptures else to name with them? Here the poet is saying that the Upanishads are so grand that no other books in the world are even worth mentioning in the same breath. Question number 9 is about ode. This question tells us that the poem is an ode and then it also informs us what is an ode. An ode is a lyrical poem that expresses deep admiration, praise or reverence for a person, place, object or idea. It is often written in an elevated and formal style, celebrating the subject with enthusiasm and emotion. An ode's language is often grand and expressive, and it seeks to highlight the extraordinary qualities of its subject. It is then asked, now identify examples from the poem that correspond to it being an ode. We can see clearly that this poem is an ode through these 5 examples. First is the line, "The mighty Himavant is ours," where the poet is praising India's majestic mountains. Second is the generous Ganga is ours, where the poet is admiring the sacred river. The third is the sacred Upanishads are ours, where the poet is celebrating India's spiritual wisdom. Fourth is gallant warriors have lived here, where the poet is honoring brave heroes. And finally, she is fearless. Let's praise her, where the poet is directly praising our country. So all these examples show that the poem is full of respect, pride and celebration, which are the main features of an ode. Let us now move to question 10, which is about allusion, our final literary device from the poem. Now, what is an allusion? Allusion is a literary device where a writer makes an indirect reference to a well-known person, place, event, literary work, or cultural element without explicitly mentioning it. So the poet won't explain the reference in detail, he will just mention it. The reader is expected to recognize and understand the reference based on prior knowledge. Allusions can come from mythology, religion, literature, history, or popular culture. So when the poet mentions a famous name or event, he expects the readers to know the story behind it. For example, when someone says he is a real Einstein in the mathematics class, this alludes to Albert Einstein, meaning the student is very intelligent, especially in mathematics or science. Come to the main question now. Now read the explanations and identify the matching allusions from the poem for the following. Number 1. An allusion to the ancient Indian scriptures that form the philosophical core and symbolize deep wisdom and enlightenment. This one is very easy. Upanishads. Number 2. An allusion to the concept of spiritual knowledge associated with self-realization and ultimate truth. The correct answer will be Brahma knowledge. The third one is an allusion to Gautama Buddha's teachings, which include compassion, non-violence, and enlightenment. The correct answer will be Buddha's Dhamma. So by using these allusions, the poet doesn't have to explain everything. He just mentions these names and our minds instantly feel with the rich history and culture of our great country. So with this, we come to the end of today's video. In the next video, we will continue with the remaining sections, that is critical reflection and vocabulary in context. Till then, keep learning and keep revising. If you found this video helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss our next session. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.